In this video, we will discuss analysis of liver function test. Liver function test, we should know the normal values first. Serum bilirubin less than 1.2 milligram per deciliter, and it is elevated in any type of jaundice, whether it is hepatitis, obstructive or bilirubin metabolic disorders. Inflammatory enzymes that is representing hepatitis are SGPT, SGOT, which is also known as ALT and AST respectively. ALP is obstructive jaundice marker, that is cholestasis marker. Gamma GT again is elevated in cholestasis, but it is also elevated in any fatty liver disease because it is present in endoplasmic reticulum. So fat in the hepatocyte will squeeze the endoplasmic reticulum to release gamma GT into blood. It is also elevated due to direct alcohol effect also. 5' nucleotidase is a relatively specific marker of cholestasis. Albumin represent synthetic functions of the liver, and it has a T half of 21 days, so it will be decreased in chronic liver diseases. While urine urobilinogen is a normal finding because bilirubin which is secreted into the GIT convert into urobilinogen, so it is a normal finding. So if there is any obstruction, this urine urobilinogen will become absent. While urine bilirubin is negative finding, but if it is present in the urine, this is abnormal, and it will be present in cases of direct hyperbilirubinemia, because direct bilirubin or conjugated bilirubin is not binding with albumin, so it will be excreted in the urine if the levels are high. Other way around, if a patient has indirect high bilirubin levels, so that binds with albumin and is not excreted in the urine. So let's see, in a patient who is coming to you, how to go about the liver function test step by step. So first look at the serum bilirubin level, total bilirubin levels. So if there is a isolated elevation means liver functions are normal, ALT, AST, ALP, they are all normal. So then you look at the direct bilirubin fraction. If the direct bilirubin fraction is less than 15% of the total bilirubin, so that means it is a case of indirect hyperbilirubinemia. And if the levels are more than 15% of the total, it is a case of direct hyperbilirubinemia. The isolated elevation of direct hyperbilirubinemia are limited number of causes like Dubin-Johnson syndrome, in which direct bilirubin is not able to get excreted into the bile ducts, so it will be more in the blood. And Rotor syndrome is the reuptake defect of direct bilirubin back into the liver. So these will lead to isolated elevation, means liver enzymes will be normal in these two conditions. Indirect hyperbilirubinemia, if patient is coming to us, that means ki the direct fraction is less than 15% of the total. So the causes usually are hemolytic causes. So hemolysis feature we will see in the clinical examination, like pallor will be present, or in the investigation if we look at the hemoglobin, that will be low, or reticulocyte count will be high, LDH level will be high. If these features are present, yes, then it is most likely hemolytic anemia. But if these features are absent, then we have to take a drug history, whether the patient is taking some ATT like rifampicin or prevention of high uric acid probenecid, because these two drugs, they inhibit the uptake of indirect bilirubin into the liver, so the level will be high in the blood. So we have to take the thorough history. If there is no such history, it could be a likely case of a Gilbert syndrome, UGT deficiency, a mild UGT deficiency. UGT is the enzyme which convert indirect bilirubin into direct bilirubin. Or it could be rare disorders like Crigler-Nazar syndrome, which are having a severe deficiency of UGT. So most commonly in OPD we encounter a patient of Gilbert syndrome where the jaundice will increase after fasting or stress. Then the second parameter that you will assess are the liver enzymes. liver enzymes are ALT and AST. So if there is a elevation of these liver enzyme, then most importantly you will look at the ratio or the level of ALT and AST. If the level of ALT is more than AST, then in that scenario you will look at the individual values. If the individual values are more than 1000, so there are very limited number of causes of value of more than 1000 international units per liter. These are acute viral hepatitis, then you order for serology, viral serologies. It could be drug induced or toxins, so you have to take a thorough history. Ischemic hepatitis, that will be obvious from the clinical examination. Congestive hepatomegaly, JVP, will be raised, or it could be a acute bile duct obstruction with pain in the abdomen. If the levels are raised to less than 150, that is 5 times the upper limit of normal, 150, then it could be chronic liver diseases like non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, can be a chronic hepatitis B or C, autoimmune hepatitis, Wilson disease, hemochromatosis. So in all these conditions, ALT will be more than AST. While other way around, if AST is more than the ALT, then you should calculate this ratio AST divided by ALT. This is known as a de-Ritis ratio. If this come out to be more than 2, that means it is the most specific investigation for alcoholic liver disease, because in the OPD in front of the relative, patient might not tell you that he is taking alcohol. So just see the ratio and you can identify that patient liver disease is due to alcohol effect. If the ratio is more than 1, then it is cirrhosis. The reason being, AST, there is a normal reuptake back into the liver from the blood. So if the cirrhosis is there, AST reuptake into the liver will be reduced. So AST will be slightly high than the ALT. So with this simple calculation, you can identify the etiology. Now, the next parameter you will see is the ALP level, alkaline phosphatase level. If that is elevated, so look at the other enzyme gamma GT or 5' nucleotidase. Suppose these two are normal, that means the elevation of the ALP is due to some other cause, which can be a bone disease like osteomalacia, or it could be pregnancy because of the release from the placenta. ALP will be elevated. So if you see in the investigation that isolated ALP is elevated, other liver enzymes or other liver parameters are normal, then do evaluate for bone disease. If ALP is elevated along with gamma GT, that means the source is bile duct most likely. So there will be a bile duct obstruction, obstructive jaundice, or we call it as cholestasis. So the first step is the history. Rule out the drugs which leads to cholestasis. If the history is ruled out, then you order the ultrasound, and in the ultrasound look at the common bile duct status. If the common bile duct status is dilated, obviously the obstruction is extrahepatic, like strictures, lymph nodes, or dangerously CA pancreas can cause obstruction. So in that case you should go for a CT abdomen or MRCP evaluation. But if the common bile duct is not dilated, it means it is a case of intrahepatic obstruction. Intrahepatic obstruction, the usual causes are primary biliary cholangitis or primary sclerosing cholangitis. It could be granulomatous disorders like sarcoidosis as well. So the most sensitive and specific antibody for primary biliary cholangitis is anti-mitochondrial antibody. So do order for this non-invasive test. If this is positive, most likely it is a case of a primary biliary cholangitis. Yes, of course, other features will be there like pruritus, pale stools suggestive of cholestasis. While AMA is negative, then think of primary sclerosing cholangitis, though primary sclerosing cholangitis can be intrahepatic, extrahepatic, or both. And it is all associated with inflammatory bowel disease like ulcerative colitis. So take the history of ulcerative colitis, or it could be due to granulomatous disease like sarcoidosis. For that you have to go for a ACE level and thorough history, then go for chest X-ray and other tests for sarcoidosis. Now the drugs which leads to the cholestasis are divided into four groups. Those causing a bland cholestasis. Bland means there is no inflammation in the liver. So these drugs are anabolic steroids, like bodybuilders take anabolic steroids, or female individual taking oral contraceptive containing estrogen. When there is a inflammation as well, so these are ACE inhibitors, amoxiclavulic acid combination, or azathioprine. If there is granulomatous evidence, then the usual causes are sulfonamides, allopurinol, or phenytoin. Then there is a dangerous condition known as vanishing duct syndrome. That means ki bile duct irreversible loss. It can be caused by macrolides, amoxiclavulic acid combination, or chlorpromazine. So these are the drugs which can lead to cholestasis. Now let's discuss some of the cases. These are actual OPD cases. So if you can see the liver function test of this individual, total bilirubin is 1.01, but out of which the indirect bilirubin is 0.91. So and direct bilirubin is 0.13. So this is a case of the direct fraction is less than 15%. So it is a case of indirect high bilirubin. Though in this case serum bilirubin total should be elevated, but here it is normal, but still indirect levels are high. So we can then take a thorough history, and then we can diagnose whether hemolysis was there, or more commonly Gilbert syndrome. So this patient has Gilbert syndrome. Second individual, in this the direct bilirubin you can see is 0.31. Total bilirubin is given as 0.97. So the direct bilirubin is 30% of the total bilirubin. So it is a case of direct hyperbilirubinemia. But if you can see, indirect absolute value is 0.66. It is more than the direct one. But in evaluation of direct and indirect, we take the percentage of total. So this is a case of direct high bilirubin level, and you can see liver enzymes AST, ALT, ALP are all normal. So most likely patient has direct high bilirubin level due to Dubin-Johnson syndrome or Rotus syndrome. Now in this next individual, if we'll see the parameters, so here the bilirubin is almost normal, but SGOT and SGPT are elevated, and you can see SGPT is more elevated than SGOT, and these are mild elevations. ALP is slightly high. So if it is slightly high, the value is, some says 120 maximum limit, some say 130. So you can ignore this value as well. So if the SGPT is more than SGOT and the levels are less than 150, then you will think of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, autoimmune hepatitis, chronic hepatitis B and C. So the history and clinical examination will tell you. This patient has a BMI of 30, actual patient 30, obesity, and was having diabetes also. So most likely non-alcoholic fatty liver disease was the cause. In this scenario, you can see the total bilirubin is 2.71 and direct is 0.46 and indirect is 2.26. So the direct bilirubin will come out to be almost 15%. So if it is 15%, then we will take it as a case of indirect hyperbilirubinemia. And patients say that whenever there is prolonged fasting, there is yellowness in the eyes. So this is a case of Gilbert syndrome most likely. And in this case, if you will see the liver enzyme SGPT is mildly high, but gamma GT is elevated. So if isolated elevation of gamma GT is present, then it is most likely a case of fatty liver disease without producing cholestasis. If cholestasis was there, then ALP must have been increased. So this is a fatty liver disease in this example. Now this patient came with liver disease, and if we'll see the parameters, you can see SGOT, SGPT are almost okay, but when you take the ratio was 2.3. so that will tell you that patient must be taking alcohol. So the AST ALT ratio is high. Gamma GT is also high, because alcohol causes fatty liver disease, and fatty liver disease any cause leads to increased gamma GT levels. And look at the albumin. albumin here was low 2.92. So this patient must be having a chronic liver disease, most likely a chronic liver disease due to alcohol, and patient might have developed cirrhosis. Reason being because the liver enzymes are almost normal, so the liver synthesis of these enzymes might be impaired. So this is a case of alcoholic cirrhosis, chronic liver disease, albumin levels are low. So these is how to analyze a case of abnormal liver function test. So if you have any questions, doubts, or you want to share your experience, do write in the comment section. Thank you.